Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cheryl Mother Unfiltered Real Talk. Have you ever had the worst roommate ever that you don't know what to do in that situation? You just you're just stuck because you have the worst roommate ever, and you thought everything was fine in the beginning, things were going great, but you notice some weird warning signs and you don't know how to get rid of that person. And the reason why I'm talking about this, I was just watching a documentary on Netflix called The Worst Roommate, and it took me back. It took me back when I first moved out of my parents' house, and I was just so happy and excited that I was just free, that I get to live on my own, have my independence, and it was great. And then I decided that I wanted a roommate, to split, the rents and, the utilities and everything. So not knowing, because I was so young and excited and thrilled to, to have a roommate, one of my other friends that I knew in high school told me about this girl that she knows that she's looking for a roommate as well. I'm like, okay, great. And at that time, I didn't do a background check or anything. I was just happy and thrilled that one, I got my own apartment when I moved out of my parents' house, and this was like in my 20s. And two, I had a roommate that was willing to, live with me. And so it worked out. So she moved in. We moved in together, and she got the bigger room because she was making a little bit more money than me, and I got the second room, which that was fair. Things were going great. It was just wonderful. She had her own life. I had mine. We did our things. She paid her rent. I paid my rent. We did everything separately. So things were going smoothly until I noticed things were just weird. Like men were just kept going into the apartment. You know what I mean? Like when the first man came in, I'm like, okay, maybe it's her boyfriend or someone she's dating. Okay. Then a couple hours later, another one came in, and I'm like, okay. I didn't want to be judgmental, you know what I mean? Because, she was paying rent. She lived there too. So whatever she did was her own personal business. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Then it just kept happening periodically, like different men, older men too, not young, like a little bit older, younger, kept coming into the apartment, left and right. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Then a couple weeks later, another gentleman, a black man, would just start banging in our front door, kicking, doing God knows what. And I was terrified. I'm like, what the hell is happening? What is going on? So apparently that was her boyfriend that she'd been dating for a long time, but I guess they broke up, and he didn't know where she was living. So I guess someone told her where she was living, and then he wanted to come in, but luckily he didn't, but he broke the doorknob in our apartment. Then she left a little bit, and she said she's going away for a couple of days just to get away. I'm like, okay. The next you know, then the boyfriend came back, but then he busted her bedroom window, which she knew about it, but she didn't mention it to me. And I was like, one of my friends from high school, when we used to go to high school together, she told me, and I'm like, are you serious? So I had to go outside and take a look at her bedroom. And then sure enough, the psycho ex-boyfriend broke her bedroom window while I was sleeping in the room, and I had no idea. So all this time, that after work, coming home from a long day at work, eating whatever, and then in my bedroom watching TV, and then going to bed, that this whole time there was a broken window. So anyone could have came in to the room, robbed me, raped me, God forbid, you know what I mean, or worse. And thank God it didn't happen, but my roommate knew about it and she didn't mention it to me. So I had to call the property management and let them know, listen, I have a broken window. Can you please replace it and fix it? Okay. Then I'm like, okay, let me just let this go, whatever. I was very upset because I was like, my safety down the line, you know what I mean? And I had told her, listen, this cannot happen again. This is unacceptable. If something like this happens, you need to tell me, you need to tell management, because your psycho boyfriend is crazy and he could endanger me or other people. She apologized. She felt really bad. I'm like, okay. Then several months later, weird stuff started to happen. Multiple men came in her room, in and out, doing God knows what. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, I was just like freaked out and crazy and worried. And then I asked my friend, like, what is she doing? Like, does she has another side job? And then she told me that she does like prostitution and she's doing it in her house, in the apartment. I'm like, come again? What the heck is she doing? I was livid. I was like very upset. I was just angry. You know, even though she pays half of the rent, that's still my safety. People, you just don't know with people. People can go crazy. People can go psycho and lose their freaking mind. You know what I mean? Because what if they were like obsessed with her and wanted more from her and she didn't want anything from them? She just wanted to get paid for her services and that's it. Just like what happened to her ex-boyfriend. Her boyfriend was just psycho. I'm like, this is unacceptable. This is like my safety. My safety is on the line. My life is on the line, excuse me. You know, and that was very concerning to me. I'm like, how the hell I'm gonna get rid of this girl? You know what I mean? It's like if I tell her to leave, she's not gonna leave because her name was on the lease too. And I couldn't leave because my name was on the lease. I didn't want that to affect my credit. I was just freaking out. I was just worried. I'm like, what the heck I'm gonna do? So I had to take action. I saved up some much money as I can. I was looking for another apartment. And instead of me, see, this is why I was smart, because I was not gonna go and tell her, like, listen, I'm moving out and I'm finding another place. Because next thing you know, she would have screwed me over and not pay half of her rent. And then I would have ended up paying half of it. So what I did was I just waited until the rent was due on the first of the month. She gave me the rent and gave me half of her electricity and everything. And then luckily I found an apartment just all for me. And then I told her, listen, you have the end of the month to leave because I'm moving out and I found a place. Boom. She couldn't say anything and she had no choice to leave. You know what I mean? She already gave me her rent money. She already paid half of the utility. So then she couldn't end up, so she didn't end up screwing me over. You know what I mean? I was smart about it and I was like 2 steps ahead of her. So what I did was collect the money. I paid the rent and everything. And then I told her a couple of weeks later, I'm moving out and you need to move out too and find a place. Because I told her I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe. What she was doing was inappropriate and it was just not safe. And at that time, I was like, I had to do what's best for me because I didn't know what these people were capable of. I didn't know what her ex-boyfriend was capable of. If he can bust a window and break our knob in our front door, he may be capable of doing anything, getting a gun, shooting her, and try to shoot me, thinking that I'm involved in all this. You know what I mean? People are crazy. People are crazy in that mindset. And then after having that experience and being fearful for my life, I vowed to myself I will never, ever, ever get a roommate again. I will live by myself and go through the trials and struggles and tribulations. I don't care. As long as I have peace of mind that I can sleep without any worrying, without any like something happening to me, I'd be okay. And then just watching this documentary, which you have to watch, The Worst Roommate Ever, it just took me back. It just took me back in my early 20s, what I went through. And if you're going through that, listen to your gut. That's what I'm trying to say. Listen to your gut. Go with your gut instincts. Look for all the red signs of a bad roommate. And if you are noticing like cleanliness, things acting weird, someone's like torturing your animals or whatever, run for the hills, call the police, get a restraining order, do what you need to do to get out. Because these days people are crazy. People have lost their mind. That's the best advice I can give you. And also record it, document it, take pictures, record everything. Because people can turn on you just like that and make it seem like you're the crazy one, you're the one that's doing all this, and press charges on you and get yourself arrested, and then you just lose everything that you worked so hard for. That's how nuts and psychotic people are. So if you are going through this experience and have the worst roommate ever, get out, document everything. And I would love to hear your stories and your thoughts that if you ever had a worst roommate ever. And you should definitely check out the documentary series of The Worst Roommate Ever. It can really save your life. It may sound ridiculous, but it really can. And back in the day, I didn't even know if they had Netflix or not. I'm not sure, but anyway, I was smart enough to do what I had to do to leave because there was warning signs. I did ignore them. However, when the ex-boyfriend started to act crazy and did all these crazy things, I had to get out for my safety, and I'm glad I did. And I never had a roommate ever, ever since, never since, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. So please let me know if you really like this YouTube channel, and please comment below, and please subscribe to this video. And thank you for watching my YouTube channel, Cheryl Miller Unfiltered Real Talk, and I will talk to you guys soon. God bless and take care.